Zeppelin, but I reconstructed it from scratch, so I didn't sample them. So they can't come after me for copyright. I can just say, oh, it's a cover song. And that you'll see a lot of, there's a chilling effect when you sample stuff, because you get lawyers, like I got commissioned recently to remix the Beatles. That was commissioned by Paul McCartney, because last year was the 50th anniversary of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, so it's a classic as well. And they have like Death Star lawyers. I mean, they're the Beatles, you know, they have like insane money to sue you into oblivion. But even with that, we had to negotiate with them, because Yoko Ono has copyright, Sony has copyright. So what I said, to get around all that, I'm not going to sample anything from the album, I'm just going to reconstruct it. And because I program and do stuff like that, I was able to make songs that sounded similar, but not sampling. Because a lot of people will still sample, and then you get lawyers calling, and it's hell, and you have to get into legal stuff. And these days, you can make any song out of anything. I mean, you really, you know, the technology has gone crazy. So that's why I just thought I'd show you this, like Zeppelin. Because Zeppelin, by the way, copied a lot of black musicians, and there's lawsuits still going now about their appropriation of Lead Belly, Bo Diddley. Oh, and in fact, I'm producing a remix project of Bo Diddley that's coming out in 2019. And we're going to get a whole bunch of hip hop DJs to remix Bo Diddley about the transition from blues to rock, but again, like more of a hip hop rock update. So copyright usually is on the side of whoever has more money, you know. But I'm a big fan of freeware or open source, so I can say, look, it's free, sue me, you know, you'll get 1 penny. And then I release it free on the internet, so. My next album is going to be a cryptocurrency, so I'm into all this. You can still make money, you just have to be a little more clever. A lot of the mainstream people are like, oh, I need a big record label to push all my stuff, and I need to make a big, expensive music video. You know, it's just because people have been programmed to think that that's success, but there's a lot of other approaches if you're willing to innovate and disrupt. So I think we're at a crisis right now where copyright was written for physical goods when there was a time of scarcity, but once things get digital, everything is copies. And you know, every kid on the planet is just going to download your stuff or stream it or do whatever. So I think artists need to work with that instead of against it, and the normal copyright doesn't really work. No, we work with his estate. The Smithsonian can call anybody. I mean, the Smithsonian is a huge heavyweight scene. So we worked with people in their art department. By the way, if you still want to cover, I know the people at the Smithsonian, I'm happy to put you in. They can call anybody and get anything. I mean, because it's the Smithsonian. Nobody's going to say no to them because it's prestigious and so on. So they took care of all that, and I didn't have to deal with, I just had to think about the ideas and work with their software developers. But legal stuff, man, it's a pain in the neck. I've never been sued because I cut things up and edit and change it around. You know, I have had friends who've been sued, and it's hell. Like I work with Public Enemy, Chuck D from Public Enemy, who's an old friend of mine, and they had crazy lawsuits when I don't know if anybody is this is like grandpa era here. It's like It Takes a Nation of Millions. Does anybody remember? Yes. But James Brown's estate, all sorts of like Prince. They sampled all sorts of people, and the musicians were usually cool, but the lawyers were like, these guys have a big hit song, let's go after them. And then their lawyers were talking to their lawyers, and everybody's lawyers was making the money. And by the time the money trickles down to the musicians, you know, it's crumbs. So nobody would win except the lawyers. So my dad was a lawyer, so I kind of get it. But I don't know. I just try and avoid that. You know, just you say, for example, if I was doing this, roll my beard in, and the estate said, "Oh, you can't use it." What I would do is like either scan the image to the point and then like cut it and do some other stuff, like and then make a print out of it so that I don't have to deal with them at all. And you could say, well, it's an interpretation or a cover version, and they can't come after you for that. But yeah, I hate dealing with legal stuff. I'd rather, there's a lot. If it's a beautiful day, I'd rather be outside, you know, instead of dealing with some lawyers. Somebody had their hand up here. Maybe
one more.
Yeah, we can do one more unless somebody has a really pressing question. I'm around for the next day and so on.
Hi, Alexis Prescott. I'm a music major. I have 2 quick questions. So the first one is, how did you get into programming? Like, did you just learn by yourself, or did you collaborate with other programmers? And then my second question is, how did you come up with your stage name, DJ Spooky?
Okay.
Well, first, I don't consider myself a programmer per se. I'm a user. Like, I use the editing software. Some people will make their software from scratch. I'll use stuff like Logic, Reason, Cakewalk, occasionally Pro Tools if I'm scoring a film. But that was just like, you have to sit down and learn the software. Same with Adobe Premiere, Photoshop, because I do visual work. And I wouldn't say that I'm a specialist or particularly good at it. You have to do it because otherwise you keep paying people to do it for you, and I have a small studio. I have friends, I'll just show you really quick, who are really into that. For example, there was a friend of mine, like when I was working on the software, app software I work with, I showed, this is George Clinton, and he was using my software to DJ, for example. This is probably a better photo. But he's one of my favorite legendary figures, and he doesn't, I was showing him how to DJ a little bit. And then I realized different musicians from different generations will have a different approach. And so he's used to commanding a band, and I'm used to working alone, so I'm a one-man band. So programming just allowed me to be more flexible and more free, and I didn't have to keep saying, all right, I need a drummer, I need a bass player, or this or that. So it just, the more cooks in the kitchen, as they say, the slower the meal. So I've always enjoyed working solo, so it freed my time up and I can do a lot of other stuff. So then the second part of your question was, why DJ Spooky? Well, in college, my DJ name was DJ Captain Crunch, and that wasn't too catchy. So I was just messing around, and I would throw parties, but it was just fun. I had a good time. And Spooky, I thought it was more catchy or something, and it was basically you press play and there's nobody there. And so not my wildest imagination. I'm 48 now, I feel like I'm grandpa here, but in my teens and 20s, I really just thought it was a hobby. It was gonna be, just one day I'm gonna go back to graduate school, and I was planning on going into the foreign service and being a diplomat, and DJing's a lot more fun, so. And there's no way I could represent America for anything at this point, it's really well. But yeah, so it was a hobby that, just like I said, so Spooky was just meant to be like Phantom, or something like that. All right, so.
Great, well, thank you so much for giving another hand.
And thank the musicians as well. Thank you guys. And if you liked any of the music, it's free to download. It's on djspooky.com/Antarctica. And I do have albums for normal sales and stuff like that on iTunes. So thank you guys so much. And thank the musicians again. I really appreciate it.